Hi, welcome back to Wallflowers. Well, I think the state of affairs with what happened in Poland yesterday had us all in a bit of a tizzy and escalated those fear tactics. Um, don't normally watch the news, don't normally watch anything like that, but obviously I wanted to see what was being said because I knew um, what had happened there in Poland and I was quite concerned. Straight away the news is saying, let's not jump to conclusions, but by the way, it's definitely Putin. All in the one sentence, flip flopping, two separate things, all in the one sentence. Let's not jump to conclusions, but let me tell you now, it was Putin and it was Russia. Doesn't make sense, you know. So we had that last night. Mr. Wallflowers and I were taking a look at blackouts within the UK, and it was a live map of blackouts throughout the UK, and we could see it was quite a lot of areas starting again. Closest to us was within our town and going to Manchester, and a lot in the rest of England and the UK. So it was highly hit last night with blackouts in quite a few different places. And obviously fear escalates then because you think, right, if these blackouts start now, if they're telling us it's Russia and we're straight away we're at war, there's no more time to prep. There's no more time to put things in place. We have to start utilising what we've got. We have to get organised. So we got up this morning and they've accepted now it was actually the Ukraine. It was a Ukraine part. They've accepted, or now it's an accident on the part of Ukraine. So just that incident in itself shows you how quickly this is going to escalate. We're presuming within ourselves now we've got till January, February before these big blackouts occur. Not just an accident for a couple of hours, but we're talking 3 days, 5 days, 10 days, and then we don't know how much further. So we're hoping we've got till January and February. Another one of these instances happens, we're straight into it, and it's from that point forward. If they were going to stick to saying it was Russia yesterday, we'd actually be in that territory right now. Luckily enough, they've accepted it's Ukraine, bit of reprieve, and we can carry on prepping, organising, doing what we need to do because we know it's definitely coming one way or the other. So we need to take a deep breath. We need to not let the fear factor take over and to be running around like headless chickens. It's time to evaluate what have you got, what haven't you got. Sense and sensibility now. Time to realistically look and say, right, this is what I'm doing. I'm going, right, I didn't get the wood stove fire. I'm not at that stage yet. I'll have no gas or electricity in the kitchen when the blackouts occur. So I've got some tins, I've got some food, I've got a little bit of this, a little bit of that. How am I going to cook it when needed? Yes, I've got a barbecue. Pretty lucky, mine's pretty wide barbecue. I can put a few pans on there, I can put the kettle on there, I can boil water. Some people haven't got the barbecue. Some people haven't got a wood stove fire. Some people haven't got this, some people haven't got that. So if you've got a garden, or you've got a communal garden, or you've got a space on the outside, look around now for some bricks. If you haven't got a fire pit, if you haven't got those types of things, look around for some bricks. Make your own little fire pit. You can make it on top of concrete if you have to, if that's the only place you've got. You can do it on the soil, on the grass, you can do it any way you need. Do a layer, 2 layers of bricks around the outside. If you can't get any wood, it's not accessible to you, go foraging in the woods, collect the twigs, collect the branches, pull back a half a trunk tree that's fallen if you have to, cut that up yourself, and make sure you've got somewhere dry inside to store that till when we need it. I mean, you could be looking at, say, January, February before we need it. Then you might be able to last a week or two without it, but you're going to need it eventually if these blackouts last any length of time. You know, we look back at history and we're told to look back at history. History repeats itself. We've got the early 1900s, you know, we had plague, we had disasters, we had World War One, we had recessions, we had depopulation on a scale there where 20 million died in the war, 150 million died from disease and plague, and so it goes on. So we've got to look back there and say, right, you know, those things are happening now. The food shortages were happening then, they're happening now. The unemployment was escalating, it happened then, it's happening now. This is not just affecting us personally around us, it's affecting the whole of the world. So that means the import exports, that means everything and anything that you'd normally be buying. You know, it affects everything. So if you're thinking today, right, okay, I'm a bit worried now, and although I've got a little bit, I'm going to go out and I'm going to throw as much money as I can on doing a big shop. Take time and think, what is it you're doing that big shop on? There's no point buying a load of freezer stuff because another bomb might hit somewhere else tomorrow and the war starts tomorrow. The blackouts start the day after. We just don't know. So I'm trying to empty the freezer. If I can dehydrate it, excuse me, all well and good. If I can cook it and eat it in gradual meals as we go along until January, February, all the better. I'm trying to gradually empty that freezer if I can some, dehydrate some, and eat as much as we can. So shopping wise, so yeah, tins, yeah, packets. But those packets, how are you going to put them together? What are you actually going to make out of the packets? Yeah, we need the rice, yeah, we need the pasta. If you can get tinned potatoes, all the better. You know, anything that you can put in a pan with liquid that you can heat up, whether it be a barbecue, garden fire, however, you know, if you've got a gas bottle to use a camping stove or whichever way it is, you can heat the product up in the liquid in the pan. You've got no bread. Do you know how to make bread on a campfire, on a camping stove, on a barbecue? So at this stage, we've still got time to watch YouTube videos, to get the books out. If you've got the books, you're fine because you've got those books and you can keep them and you can refer back to them at any point. If you haven't got the books, now's the time to order what you want from eBay, from, you know, any delivery service, whatever, and have those books set aside if and when you need them. That refers to medical, growing, baking, cooking, anything you might need that you're not going to retain the information in your head. Take a pen, take a piece of paper, start researching, start looking for how to make bread, how to clean a wound, how to change a dressing, how to do anything that you might think it'll apply to you, that you might need. There's lots there. Write it down and keep it safe. If we don't have use of the gadgets, you know, I'm a swine for it. If I'm cooking a recipe or whatever, I'll grab my phone, I'll grab the laptop and I'll look up and I'll think, even though I've made it so many times, I'll still look it up and refer to that instead of relying on my memory, or instead of having that written version down or going to the cookbook and using it. I've got so many cookbooks and I still go back and use the Google search and the YouTube search or whatever it is. We have to step back and stop relying on going to that electrical device all the time. We have to go back to the written version of it and having that there. That's what I'm trying to tell myself. That's what I'm trying to make sink into myself. If I know it, I know it. Trust myself that I know it. If I don't know it and I think I'm going to keep forgetting it, I've got to remind myself to put it in the pad, put it in the diary, have different books, have a medical book, a growing book, baking book, however many things you need, whether it's your pattern book, whatever it is that you need to refer to. If you are cooking on the barbecue, or the camping stove. Again, it's what type of meals are you going to be doing on it. Now, anything that you just have to add water to, such as cup of soups, noodles, the pastas, the rices, stock cubes are a favourite for me, because although they'll add lots of flavour to those water-based stews, soups, etc., you can actually just drink it as a hot drink. In the winter, my dad used to give me a cob of bread, and he used to give me what we call an OXO cube, hot OXO drink, and you'd literally just drink it. If you had the bread, you'd dip the bread in and enjoy the bread, and then keep your hands hot and drink the OXO drink. Things like that would be such a pleasure when you've literally just got your tea or coffee and you haven't got the choices of, you know, your fresh orange juice, your liquid wetters that you normally have in between. So flavours are going to be important. Sweets and treats are going to be important. You know, if you can store a couple of jars of peanut butter. Yesterday I got the banoffee spread, some digestives, some sweets that you'd actually like, whatever it is, whatever form you'd actually like. Mr. Wallflowers likes his crackers and hummus, you know, so we look at that types of things. But if you've got a few of them stored away in airtight containers and you know they're going to stay fresh, and you've got them as a treat to look forward to, that down moment when you think that you're cutting your meals back or you're depriving yourself because you haven't got normality, because you're having to change the way you think and your routine and everything, we feel a little bit sorry for ourselves, so a treat will make us feel better, you know. And that's, be realistic, that's who we are, that's how we act. I know that's how I act. I think if I've got a little treat, it'll just dissuade me from feeling too down or pick me up. I've got a terrible sweet tooth, so I like a treat in between. I'm just saying, I'm taking this opportunity after yesterday to take a step back a little and to start thinking, right, okay, we've done what we've done. Where are we actually at? You know, we've got to realise that electricity might not be there and it could go long term. In the past, when we look back, you know, it could last 40 years, it could last 10 years, it could last, as you say, just the 10 weeks. It's the not knowing that makes us uneasy. We can't store enough food for 10 years, we can't store enough this, that and the other for 10 years. Things break, things aren't made today to be solid to last that long, they're made to break because it's corporatism, so we can go out and replace it. We have to put measures in now and think, how can I'm trying to stock up pens and paper. I like to doodle. And if it comes to I've got nothing else, then I want to doodle. I want to read a book. I want to read. I want to do different things. I want to keep my mind active. I want to do puzzles. I want to do different things. So it's the small things. It's not just about eating, although eating is vital. We can't stop eating. We have to keep maintaining the calories. We have to still have the strength to forage the wood, to create a fire, to stand there and cook a stew for 2 hours rather than leaving it on the pot and come in and sit down and then go and check it. We're just going to be out there in the garden monitoring it, you know. We're going to be using a lot more energy, so it doesn't really make sense that we can eat a lot less calories. So we have to make sure the food side is there, but the stimulation, the motivation, the relationship between the people that you're actually living with, if those people can't go to work or you can't go to work yourself and you're stuck in a proximity with a partner that you're not used to being with for those 5-6 days a week because they're normally out at work, so you're going to be together 24 hours a day. If that comes to fruition, you know, the unemployment and the work crisis as well on top, you've got to learn to take space in the different rooms of the house, learn to maintain the relationship and the communication. I'm not saying everyone's got an up and down relationship, but a lot of us are not used to spending 24 hours a day with our partners, with our families. If that happens, we've got to maintain that, because we're not moving out, we're not falling out. When you're at crisis point, we've all got to survive together. And if you're arguing and there's factions between you, that's going to be hell on earth, as well as the struggles with everything else. So, self-motivation, family motivation, some might call it spiritual, some might call it going into yourself. We'll all deal with it in different aspects. But we've got to keep ourselves afloat. The treats, being able to do that little interest, take yourself in a separate room and then come back together and be able to carry it forward. I hope I'm not waffling too much, and I hope you're understanding what I'm saying, but besides the pressure and the fear, we've got to some kind of keep the stability within ourselves. You know, a lot of us aren't high maintenance. We're not out there buying the latest fashion, needing to go to discos and pubs and everything like some of the young people are today. You know, a lot of us here are ladies of a certain age and men of a certain age. Maturity goes a long way, but stability and making sure that we can move forward and we can survive this crisis will take a lot from us. Will take a lot from us mentally. That strain can be a burden when we're dealing with each other's strain whilst we're doing it. So trying to keep afloat, trying to keep motivated and come together. We've got to put personality into it, we've got to put creativity into it, we've got to work together. I'm looking forward to doing a live stream with Karen from Prime of Midlife Saturday, and it's our community working together. It's people of a certain age that want to talk about these relevant aspects of how we're going to cope in these times, and that's what I'm loving at the moment. I've reached out, Karen's reached out to me too, and we're building a friendship. And I hope a lot more of us can do that, because we're going to have to keep each other afloat. It's the only way we're going to survive. I hope you're all thinking the same as me, and if we can communicate through the messengers, comment box, if I can answer any replies, and if you can join us on the live stream on Saturday and we can see each other, talk to each other, all that would be great. I really hope I haven't waffled too much, and I hope that we all understand. Really nice talking to you, and I'll see you soon. Bye.